What's up, guys? Scion here. Now, on demand, a lot of people have asked me to take a look at the new Hashirama Skillbreak. Now, I don't have Hashirama on China, so I really can't show you. And the fight, I really wish I could, because they made him a whole lot better overall when it comes to 4-on-4 fights. And, like, you know, he's even better for team fights. Just put it out there right now. He's even better now for team fights when he's skill broken. But 4-on-4 fights, he kind of didn't really fit. The Edo Hashirama though was badass. It still is badass, but they made this version a whole lot better. So everybody who has him right now, like, you win because he's a badass mofo right now, on top of the buff that he gives and how good he is, and, you know, great ninja war and guild battles and stuff like that. So inherently what I did is I came out to this. We're just gonna talk about him now and concept. I would like to use the German version, but the German version has not updated beyond what he was already with his skill books. This is the skill book version, and, you know, he pretty much could, you know, enhance his normal attack and enhance his first passive, but the rest of this is not on the German site, unfortunately. So hang over here to the official version. You see they have it all updated. This is why I have to sometimes use this version, because there's no other option there other than to use this version. So going in, as soon as this loads, as you can see right here, this +1 right here, going from this to over here to this one, which you already see the problem already. I barely moved and it took itself out of it already. So gotta reset all over again. It's really aggravating using this thing. Hit the reset and go in. Like, I barely moved. Like, it's kind of like a skating type of thing. All right, so going back in. So you see again, have the enhance on top of that, the shield, and pretty much buffing, you know, random dispatch. Now, the good thing about this is this one. This pretty much gets him the remember in the show the 8 Gates deity, which is what he does normally in his Edo Tensei version. He now does this as his mastery skill, which is good, and it's a prompt. Now look at what this prompt does. It's gonna hit up to 3 people and cause them earth and water damage, cause an interruption. So if any of them casting, that's it, they're not casting anymore. If any of them have shields or a buff, the shields are going, and then on top of this, it's going to cause a mobile to all 3 people. Not even just the directed person, just 3 people on that side. That is sexy. That's really sexy. He does have like an open round, 1 round cooldown, and then the 2 rounds after you use it. But that's sexy, and it's only 40 chakra. What? Like 40 chakra, just 40 chakra, that's crazy. That's insanity right there. Now, we already know what this one does because that's already been shown. And this one pretty much is just, you know, the whole enemy camp. But that's kind of whatever. What we're looking at right here is these next ones. All right. This is his chase. And pretty much from going from this one, as you see, chase, you know, floating causes a big foe interrupted. But if you go over to this one, it causes a 10% reduction, which is excuse me, my throat is just killing me right now. I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting sick, I don't know why, but it's gonna be twice now. He now does it twice, which is sexy. You know, why not? It always did an interruption, but they actually cause a little bit of a reduction. It causes a little bit of reduction. My throat is really struggling right now. Bad timing, throat. Anyway, it causes 10% reduction, and this could be 2 things. It could be in our translation, so I'm gonna say this right now. It could be that it's less because it chases twice, or it's going to actually debuff the target, because I've had that happen to me before, which I'll go back and maybe translate this again on my own and see if that's the case, but usually that's what happens. It's going to be one or the other, so keep that in mind. And then you have the Y, which is just does something totally different when you go to Y skills. It kind of like does an alternate way, so you have a different type of build. That's usually what the pluses and the Ys do. The pluses enhance what the current skill does, and then the Y will actually change it so it becomes a little bit of a different build. So keep that in mind too. That's what what's the difference between the plus and Y. And then the negative stat, when it's like a negative, like when it says L negative or something like that, that completely, it's like debuffing the character, but it gives you something beneficial. So sometimes you actually do want to have those negative like L stats or something like that, even though I don't like them majority of the time, but that's just what they are. It's like something to give it a complete departure from what the character can do into a different type of character. So that's what that means. All right, so as far as this one, chase small floating again causes a large float, increasing the target's SR cooldown for 1 turn. So pretty much, as long as this is remaining true and not a translation error on the part of the site, what this basically means is that whatever character you just hit, going to increase the cooldown of that character. Or, and I have to remind you, because sometimes it's the opposite, it may be you reduce your cooldown. So again, it's one of those two I have to translate, but we're just going to go with it like that for now. See, I'm doing it right now. I'm dancing on it, because normally it would just flip out and then change back to Chinese, and then I'll be like, whatever. And I can't do that right now. I'm not trying to read Chinese right now with a, I don't even have the alphabet up, so I can't do it anyway. This next one, as you can see right here, this is the same thing that he normally does. It's just a straight up buff, like I said, with the number stats. It just increase the buff between it, so that it becomes 10% life, and then the Y changes it to something else. And this pretty much means basically you're going to be immune, like, which is, this is kind of what Tsunade does when you skill break her, and she can actually use the skill and make somebody be immune to something, but he just straight up has it all the time, which is ridiculous. Like, if you have a body of an immortal, then how'd he die? Like, I don't know, that's throwing shade. But anyway, that's the skill break. Now, in essence, how do I feel about all that? I think they're kind of late doing all this, but at the same time, he is now a badass frontline ninja. Because I remember I had him in North America, and he was pretty strong in the front, but he didn't really do anything. He didn't belong in the front. So he was kind of like a sitting duck. He didn't have anything to deter damage towards him, so if somebody focused him, he was pretty much dead. Now, some people like to use him in front anyway to have his field out, which is all fine and good, but I just didn't like it because he had nothing to deter damage. Now, with this particular skill right here, which I moved, so it changed to Chinese, whatever. With this particular skill, now that people won't be able to exactly focus him like that. He won't heal anymore, of course, but he won't be getting that focus and then getting the, all types of different debuffs on him and stuff like that. And then on top of that, if you get some speed on top of him, you could put him straight up front, one slot, have him out there and like nuke the other side with the gates. And then on top of that, they're going to be immobiled, and then they won't be casting anything anymore. So if you put him with some good initiative like that, he could screw people. He could screw them heroes in style. He won't. I don't think he's going to do as much damage. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But I don't think he's going to do much as damage as that. But he will screw the other team, and like 3 out of the 4 people will not be doing anything, which is actually good too in Great Ninja War. So he just becomes even better overall. He won't have that overall, he won't have this buff that goes out to everybody, of course, but he'll still have this buff, which buffs everybody's ninjutsu for 30%. So he'll still be a good thing to put together with somebody else, and then you might be able to put him out with another team with a different passive, like, I guess whoever you can get out there who is going to enhance him with his chakra nature, and he might actually be a good nuker. Like, that's pretty good. That's more dangerous actually than Hiruzen's nuke, because Hiruzen's nuke doesn't necessarily stop anybody, it just nukes them. But this is actually going to stop the opposing team. So this is actually better for those teams that have a lot of defense, that you can't just wipe them out automatically with a nuke. So they'll just be stopped. They won't do anything that round, which is equivalent to what Shark Kasame does. It's extremely annoying like what Shark Kasame does, and he's going to cause damage. Shark Kasame can't really do any damage. He just comes out here with stupid water world and stops you from casting anything. This is a kind of almost the equivalent of like that. You don't hit all 4 people, but you do stop the cast. So no, I like him. It's a good improvement. I don't think he's going to be burning up any type of teams. And if you have Edo Hashirama, like I don't think you would pick this guy over Edo. Like, nah, chill. So, but it's still a good addition, especially if you already have him and you don't want to spend that money, like it's like 20,000 ingots with Edo Hashirama. If you already got the normal one, then you're good when he skill breaks. It's going to take a while. It's probably going to be like a year or some change before a North American actually sees something like this, but I think he's pretty cool. It's better than the recent characters. Like, I like it better than Tendo. I'll be honest. I like it way better than Tendo. Tendo is okay at all, but Tendo is like average, which kind of like, it hurts my feelings a little bit. He's like a poor man's Sasuke, Susanoo Sasuke. Like I don't know why they need to give him just a little bit more. I really don't see many players using him. He's not showing up in any of the fights, and I don't see him anywhere in my bracket either. Even though people do have him, he's definitely a ninja that a lot of people have, and he's not even really being used in like the Great Ninja Wars. Like nobody in my group is using him, and like I'm using him right now, but I really don't see that much of a difference. Like, they made him better. Stat wise, they made him better, and he can nuke a lot more efficiently and stuff like that. It works well with overflow teams, but I don't think that, like, I think the Hashirama is actually better overall than, and it should be like that. Hashirama should be better than Tendo anyway. I know some people that might be triggered. Tendo got the Rinnegan and that type of stuff, but Hashirama is supposed to be like the god of ninja and shit like that. And for his time, he's not. He's supposed to be like the god for his time. Like, he's not Sage of Six Path. Let's get it straight. But yeah, but that's about it. I'm sorry I can't show you, and I don't know anybody in China right now who has him. I know people. Let me correct that. I know people who have him, but I don't know anybody who have him skill broken. That's something different. Like, I don't even think that they even care to. And I guess that's another thing. But if I find somebody who has him that I can actually play with him and show you some skill breaks, I will do that video immediately. But I couldn't find anybody who has him who's actually using that particular character. So we gotta do it this way, and I hope you understand. Thanks for watching. As always, as usual, you can find any type of link that you want in the link in the description. You can follow me on Twitch because we're streaming over there like, every other day. I skipped today because today was like an off day. It's Saturday, we chilling, stuff like that. So catch you guys later. Peace and be legendary. Have a good weekend too.